Next is council reports. Let's start with Councilmember Mitchell.
Thank you. Grand Terrace has a new resident. I'm the proud aunt of a 1-week-old baby boy. My niece gave birth last week, and it's quite a wonderful experience to see life, I guess, at least from my perspective it was. From her perspective, maybe not so much, but I share that with you tonight because I think most of you know that, again, I ran for city council as a resident, not as a politician or anything along that line, but as a concerned resident. And I sit up here tonight and I listen to my peer Sylvia with her years and years of experience in sharing and asking great questions, and the rest of my colleagues with their years of experience sitting on council, that I feel at times I don't ask enough questions or all the questions. But someone in the audience said to me, Jackie, you ask questions when you feel that they're necessary, and I do that. And I had what seemed like a question, but turned into more of a comment as Kathleen spoke. So I took some notes, and I want to share that with you. But there's been a group that's been formed, as we all know, to oppose the tax. And there's those of us that are for the tax. And at the end of the day, what it comes down to is that we need to save the city. When we hear an expert say that disincorporation is basically distinguishing a city, and that we'll have to achieve this by 2/3 of a vote to get lesser services, that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me not to find a middle ground and to save our city. I think our pride and our personal issues, vendettas, those sorts of things that were formed in the past need to be put aside so that we can do right by the residents. And that our options are slim, but basically, what it comes down to, we need to resolve the debt issues. Either we're going to pay by utility tax, or we're going to pay by having lesser services within the city. So I hope and I pray most nights that we are able to come to a middle ground and be able to save the city. So does it make sense to pay out of our pockets or pay with lesser services? You're going to have to figure out what's right for you. But again, I'm going to say that I'm going to pay out of my pocket, because the $25 a month is nothing compared to my safety, my child's safety, my family's safety, and all of your safety. And the fact that my family is grown in Grand Terrace, and I shared with you I have a 1-week-old nephew that's going to be raised in this city, and I want to make sure this is the city that he's proud and he can continue to live in. And my final comment is that I have to stop talking to Barney in the gym because I think he's wearing his earphones. He's not listening to anything I'm saying. So, I'll end on that note.
Thank you, Jackie. Sylvia.
Yes, Mayor, there's a couple of items that I'd like to possibly see maybe we could put on a future agenda, and I don't know where that would be, but I'm sure all of you are getting several batches of emails concerning the San Bernardino animal shelter.
Several?
Yeah. I mean, it's to the point, and you know, I did respond to the group once, and a lot of these people are from out of state, and there apparently is going to be a lawsuit. There was something very disturbing. I saw a Facebook posting that someone threatened that this issue is being ignored, and there's going to be people that should be concerned about their safety that work at the animal shelter. So I think we need to really get Robert Handy here, and we need to have some kind of report and some kind of direction from the council about how we're going to address that issue. Unfortunately, we're in the throes of our survival, and we have these issues coming up. The other issue is in Riverside. They have pit bull ordinance that they have had. I just got it from Maria Montes, actually someone who says that we went to high school together, actually went from junior high and high school together, and he was attacked in my neighborhood, Van Buren and observation by a pit bull, and he had to get treatment. There's a woman in the Grand Terrace Women's Club around your neighborhood that was attacked by a pit bull about 6 months ago. Last night on my Twitter account, and then it was in the news today, their 2-year-old died. Family had 5 pit bulls. And I recall, I don't think you can have 5 dogs, regardless of breed. And I think this is something that maybe we need to look at. Another issue is the medical marijuana issue. We're a small city. We haven't had a dispensary in our area, but I have seen, and someone sent me a Craigslist listing that looking for delivery. And that's a question, because if somebody has a bona fide medical marijuana prescription, what are the laws of them coming into this jurisdiction and getting delivery of medical marijuana? Because my understanding is that the only issue with the dispensaries at this point is that the cities have a right to zone the dispensaries.
We did have a dispensary.
We did?
It was with the 2 illegal growing operations that were going on, or 3 illegal growing operations.
But they weren't legal? They didn't have, okay. So, I think we need to look at that, because there is some literature. I mean, this is something we have not pursued yet, but I do have a granddaughter who is 16, and Sanjay Gupta did a report about, she has about several hundred seizures per day. And there has been some literature about where you take out the hallucinating part of marijuana, and if you have the other properties, there was a case in Colorado, and there was a case Governor Chuck Christie reversed himself on, so a child could get that. And so I think we need to be ready should this issue come up to us. That we have a resident, for example, suffering from AIDS or suffering from some kind of bona fide medical ailment that is justified, and they can't get something that should be currently under the law available to them. I mean, it's a state law, but federal dictates the drug policy, but the Attorney General has said he's not going to impose anything on California for this. So I just think it's time that this animal shelter things and pit bull thing is obviously out of bounds right now. It's something that we need to address. And the drug delivery medical thing, I think we need to be ready. We can't wait for an exception to occur. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Darcy?
Thank you all. I want to talk about participation in the Colton Joint Unified School District Community Cabinet meeting. In August, the superintendent of schools convened a meeting of various members of the community. He invited business leaders, he invited fire, police, governmental agency, nonprofit, all different segments, educators, all different segments of the community to come together to start looking at a plan for how our school district within the greater county vision could raise their academic standards, raise their academic scores, and to graduate more seniors that are college ready and career ready. And this is a once-a-month meeting of this particular group of people to look at a vision, to look at planning, and then to come up with a way to implement that plan. It's a really interesting ongoing meeting. I was there in August, I was there in September, and I plan to be there each month that I can make it. Real interesting group of people, really focused in on how do we, as a community, help the educators to better prepare our students and find ways that they can work on internships, see what it means to apply what they're learning to careers, understand what career choices there are out there, to maybe engage them more in their learning so they see a value to staying in school. Second item I want to talk about was our Habitat for Humanity property in Michigan. I haven't heard anything about what's been going on with that since we had a ceremonial handing over of the property. But what I know is that Riverside County's Habitat for Humanity is set in the next 3 years to have, I think it's like 53 homes that they're going to build. They have 3 coming up right now, 2 in Moreno Valley, 1 in Yoruba. They have planned a 30-home community for veterans, and yet we have land on Michigan, and we have not heard any reports from Habitat for Humanity in our county, and I'm hoping maybe we can have them come out and talk to us and tell us what their plans are. Because I'd like to have our community be as excited about what's going on with their particular group as those in Riverside County are. Is that something that we could maybe do for a future meeting? Thirdly, Grand Terrace Lions will be holding their pancake breakfast on Sunday, October 6th from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. The proceeds of the breakfast this time around will benefit the Terrace Hills Middle School Band. It's $4 before the event, $5 at the door. Kids under 3 can enjoy their breakfast for free. So congratulations, Councilmember Mitchell, and if you want to bring your new nephew, he's free.
I'll bring his mom.
I don't know how much pancakes you'd be eating, but. And then lastly, I believe that part of my job as council is to represent the interests of the residents. And the best way for me to do that is to talk to members of the community about their concerns and issues. In my comments on this dais and in other places, I really do my best to talk about the facts as I know them, because I don't want residents to be concerning themselves with my particular view on an issue if they want to come to me and talk to me about that issue. I want to be able to hear all the perspectives, all the sides, so that they feel that they're represented here in this council. One of the things that I've done in the terms that I've served is I set aside Thursday afternoons from 3 to 5 to have office hours here at City Hall for people that want to drop in and talk. And I invite those that can to do that. I'm also available by email and by phone to set up a time that maybe works better. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there, that we have a lot of discussion going on. I know that there are a lot of people that seem to be choosing up sides, but I think that we as a community are best served if we can have a discussion and really talk about the issues without letting fears or emotions get the best of us. And if we feel like we can ask for clarification on what we've been hearing and get the facts. So please, if you are so inclined, contact me with any issues or concerns that you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Josie. Mayor Pro Tem Senator.
Frankly, I'm just tired. I'm concerned that the measure will fail under the weight of lies and inaccuracies that are being portrayed. I'm concerned that individuals will bring their philosophical ideas into this situation, their frustrations at the federal level and state level. There's nothing that I can do about those things. My passion and concern is for this community. And I believe that those that are most at risk are our seniors who have invested their retirement into buying their homes in the city. And what will happen if property values begin to go down and these particular services, including parks, the state says we don't need them. I say that we do to be a vibrant community. It's the strength of youth and the wisdom of seniors that makes a community a vibrant one. It's the exchange of ideas and having a place for our seniors in the senior center, work in hospice. When you lose your mobility, when you're in your 80s, and it takes effort just to be able to walk across a room, your options in terms of what you can do are significantly reduced. And I do believe that it's the city's responsibility to be able to do that. I'm concerned with our businesses in Grand Terrace who have been intimidated and have been told things that are absolutely inaccurate. There is no new HR director that we've hired. Cell phone will not be taxed based on the tower. So if someone lives outside of Grand Terrace and they come to Grand Terrace and their cell phone connects to the tower, they're not going to be taxed. It's based on billing interest. These are some of the ridiculous things that are being said. So that Walt and I favor annexation with Colton. My God, why would individuals work so hard to try to get this measure passed? In the end, whether this measure succeeds or whether it fails, it just needs to be based in truth. And I can tell you as a council member sitting up here that I have done everything humanly possible and asked questions that seem utterly ridiculous. I asked if we could actually merge with Loma Linda and what it would take. I asked what it would take to become part of Riverside County. This was when I first got elected. I asked questions and talked to Colton about what it would take to have Colton PD, because if it went nuclear and our city could not provide services, we would need to know what all the options are. These are not easy questions to ask when you deeply care about the people and the community that you live in. And then this has not been easy by any means or stretch of the imagination. I would just ask the people of Grand Terrace to spend some time and understand what is really at stake. And if you're opposed to the tax, so be it. But let it just be based in truth, not in lies, not in what we want to hear, and not in a populist message. That concludes my council report.